A lot of stuff to talk about. So I'm going to try to hit on all of the new products that I'm releasing with Ranger. If you have specific questions when I'm done, I'll hopefully have enough time to answer those because there's a lot of different ones. But first thing we'll talk about what a lot of people are talking about, and that is the new Distress crayons. This is a new medium to the Distress world, and what these are, it is a water-reactive pigment, which means it is not a wax crayon, it is not an oil pastel, it is a water-reactive pigment. What I mean by that is that you can use them just like a crayon to create that really colorful, sketchy look. You have the ability to watercolor with them because they're water reactive, and you also have the ability to smudge them with your finger. And these work on a variety of surfaces. Right now they are only available in 18 colors. They're sold in 3 packs with the hopes of more. With the hopes. I'm like, please, I want more. So let's talk about kind of the consistency of these guys. So these are incredibly creamy. They go on almost like a lipstick. They are not waxy and sketchy. You can create that look if you go really fast, or you can create that opacity just by coloring these. And that's what's really different also from a watercolor aspect with these when I said they are water reactive. Usually if you're used to coloring with, say, a marker, when you put a marker on paper, our goal is to put less marker on the paper because we want to blend it out, correct? Well, if you do less crayon on the paper, you don't have as much blending pigment on there. But if you have something that's very solid, this is going to give us a much more smooth, consistent blend than a sketch. So a totally different way when we're coloring with these, that we have that ability to either blend our pigment or create that scribble look. So let's talk about some different surfaces. If I'm working with this medium, I can work on a variety of surfaces. I can work on a craft surface, I can work on a dark surface. Because this is going to be a pigment, I'm still going to be able to see these. So unlike working with ink like a marker, you're only able to work on lighter surfaces. And this allows me to blend and manipulate my color on manila, on watercolor paper, on any of those, okay? But they're not really watercolor crayons. Their whole purpose was not just to watercolor, okay? But I wanted them to be water reactive. Meaning if I wanted to still scribble on my craft sheet, I can use that as a palette that's never going to dry. I can pick up those colors and I can still apply those colors, right? But this surface on here, let me show you some of the features of it. If I want to combine colors, if I want to mix colors, I still have that blendability. I can take different colors, and I was kind of playing around with that here earlier, but I'll show you. I can take one of the colors, I can take another color, I can go right over the top of this. I'm not going to contaminate that at all. Now, these crayons have a base that you can turn this to extend more of the material, so this base is filled with that material. And I wanted something that you can hold like a pen or a marker, because that's just how I want to work with it. When I go in with the water brush, or even just a paintbrush with water, I can pull out one of the pigments, I can pull out the other pigment, or if I go in between, I'm going to create that blend. So you do have the ability on your surfaces, if you want to color one color over the next, you can blend those pigments on there. Or I have the opportunity to layer the pigment. So for example, if I have something on here, and make sure this is dry, just because I want to dry that water that's on there, I do have the ability to highlight or accent a color, and I'll show you something on the collage medium as well. One of my favorite sets, the vintage set, contains Picket Fence. Now Picket Fence is going to allow you to still go over the top of that. So if I'm ready to create that lighter, more soft pastel version, because this is a pigment, I can go right over that and soften that color down. And that's what we were doing on some of the collage.